Welcome everyone. My name is Sean, and today is retraction day because the previous video that I put out on this channel, I released it yesterday from the time that I'm recording this video, had a major inaccuracy in it, and in fact, it was the whole reason why I was covering the video, and it's completely on me, and I need to explain to you what actually went down, the actual sequence of events, because I totally butchered that story. Now, we're going to get into this retraction, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who signed up over an actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And remind you that this show is available in podcasting form. So yesterday, from the time of me recording this video on this channel, I did a story on a man called Niall Taylor. Now, he is pictured here, and for my podcast listeners, he is holding two flaming containers while exiting the subway gate, and this is surveillance video from a February 5th incident where he attempted to set a group of three on fire by throwing these canisters at those three individuals. Now, the reason I covered this story is because this incident, coupled with an incident that occurred on Memorial Day weekend. I believe it was on May 25th of this year, but it was the Saturday before Memorial Day, so don't hold me to that exact date. He was arrested for throwing one of these flaming containers at another subway passenger, a 23-year-old male, who ended up getting burns on 30% of his body. Now, his fiance was also burned.
It happened here on Saturday afternoon at the Houston Street Station platform on the 1 train line. Officers were called here on this holiday weekend for an assault in progress to find 23-year-old Patrit Aliyai with his shirt off and burns. Investigators say a homeless man, now identified as Niall Taylor, threw a flammable liquid on the victim for no reason.
But this was because he was protecting her from that she doesn't have as severe injuries according to the reporting. Now, the major mistake that I made in this particular video isn't with any of those bits of the factual information in the story, but essentially I misread, and it exactly confirms with my worldview, which makes this an absolute disaster, that this person was actually arrested for the February 5th incident, then released, and then did it again. And that is just completely wrong, and unfortunately, it's the entire premise of my previous video. In fact, I have Anna Kasparian in the thumbnail of that video because I repeatedly used the clip of her saying, not bail eligible, not bail eligible, not a serious crime.
Not bail eligible. Not a serious crime. I'm not even kidding, guys.
And the original title on that video and the thumbnail of that video reflects that inaccurate reporting. So what actually ended up happening was on February 5th, he did the incident as I said, or at least he's accused of it according to the police. The surveillance video from that particular incident wasn't released until March, but between March, when that surveillance video was released, to May, when he was ultimately arrested for committing the same crime.
Now, this isn't the first time Taylor has done this. Detectives say back in February, he threw a lit container of flammable liquid at a group of people standing on the southbound 1 train platform at the West 28th Street station.
He was not, in fact, arrested. Now, I did talk about his previous criminal history, and I said that he actually served 2 years in prison for those charges. But as I said in the previous video, and I want to make clear here again, that is not something that he was released on or given a soft on crime treatment on or anything like that ended up resulting in him being out on the streets to this very day. In fact, the original firearms charge that he was convicted on was from 1998. The forgery or attempted forgery charge that he was convicted on was from 2008. So for me to make the case that this is not just a random instance of crazy violence and was actually the product of the failed criminal justice system in New York City and or in New York State was just wrong, inaccurate, not even close, and just no way it could be true. Now, I did say in the previous video that these two particular instances, these two particular convictions were not the reason why I was doing the story, because obviously the gap in time and the level of charges are far too small for him to be held. But just so you understand, 1998 would mean that he would have to be held for 26 years on that firearm charge, and the 2008 one, he would have had been held for forgery for 16 years, and obviously that doesn't make sense. So the whole premise of the video rested on him being released due to bail reform, And that just did not happen. Now look, obviously more information could come out related to this particular case, and the sentiment expressed by the victim that he doesn't believe that this individual will be held accountable for this particular crime, I still think is incredibly powerful.
Who's traumatized by what happened, in agonizing pain, and convinced his attacker will strike again.
Yeah, they caught the guy. They will keep you in the prison for a week and they will release him.
But the fact of the matter is, this is an instance of my own personal bias, my own misreading of a story, my own mishearing of a story, getting through all the different various checks that I like to brag about going through whenever a story confirms my worldview or my preconceived notion, and that just failed. The story is a random instance of a crazy person throwing flaming objects at people in the subway. And while that is in fact bad, it is not really the product of DA Alvin Bragg. It is not the product of New York State bail reform or anything of the sort. And even if you want to blame mental health care or something like that, the fact of the matter is there was no, as of right now, intervenable instance before this crime took place where somebody could have done something. Now, of course, you could probably say maybe this guy who's setting people on fire didn't pay for the fare, but the fact of the matter is that is not how I reported it in the initial video. Therefore, I was wrong. Therefore, you guys are entitled to a retraction. It is very important not to try to let the worldview or my own personal narrative or my beliefs overwhelm the facts of the story. So I unambiguously apologize to everybody out there in the audience. It is 100% my fault. It's not a poorly written article, a poorly said sentence, or anything like that. It is my failure to actually look up the specific details of this arrest that I assumed came based on my misreading and my mishearing of those initial reports. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was wrong, and honestly, I wasted so many of those not bail eligible, not a serious crime clips that I feel pretty bad about that, because, you know, it had a humorous tone to it, but it was all in the service of inaccuracy.
New images, Niall Taylor in court listening as prosecutors detailed the 49-year-old's reign of terror in the subway. Two separate incidents 3 months apart. Authorities say in both, Taylor tossed flaming liquid at strangers.
Not bail eligible. Not a serious crime. I'm not even kidding, guys.
So yeah, I'm really gonna just leave it right here. There's no need to stretch it out. Again, my apologies to everyone out there in the audience for getting this particular story wrong. Please feel free to attack me in the comments. And yes, this is just not a good look for me. But anyway, that's all I really have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then show them by leaving a like. Subscribe for more content. Follow me on the social media. Support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me retracting my no good, bad, very wrong, very incorrect story that I'm honestly legitimately embarrassed slipped through the cracks. Till next time.